Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another property power video. Today we're going to be playing Geoguessr. What I've had done is I've had a playlist set up by a colleague of mine. What it entails is a sort of a playlist with 6 locations, world's most famous buildings. I believe these are from around the world. And what I'm going to do is try and figure out where I am based on the building that I'm looking at, or the famous landmark, or not exactly sure, to be honest. I haven't played this playlist before, but let's jump in. Let's see what we can do. Play along if you can, and let's see if we can get a really high score here. I'm going to be sort of basing it based on the building I'm meant to sort of recognize. Maybe it's behind me. Let's take a look, and I think I already know where I am, just sort of based on some of the landmarks around, but let's see what we're looking at here, and there it is, exactly where I thought it might be. So we're in Singapore. A few of you may know this building. This is the Marina Bay Sands building. It's actually pretty recently built. I mean, depending on how old you are. I think it was built in the late 2000s, early 2010s, at least completed then. And an interesting fact that I at least found interesting based on the name, when I was planning on going, I haven't been to Singapore myself yet, but I was planning on going there, and I was doing a bit of research on this building, and it's actually owned by, or was named after, the Las Vegas Sands Casino, thus the Sands in the name. So I believe there's actually a casino in there, or maybe within this big building here. But I think most people don't really know the reason behind the name, or at least the Sands part of the name. I assume Marina Bay might be either over here or somewhere around here. But yeah, we're in Singapore. Let's see if there's any other kind of cool buildings I can point out. I mean, this is pretty cool itself, just being on the sort of fake waterfront here. Let's take a guess. Let's move on. Let's jump into where Singapore is. This will be test my geography knowledge yet again. Okay, here we go. I believe it's pretty central. And I have played a bit of Geoguessr before, and I've found that some of the iconic places tend to actually pop up when you zoom in far enough. Okay, here we go. That helps. Marina Bay Sands, Singapore. Let's just not try to be too perfect, but we are on the waterfront here, I assume. Yeah, we're looking exactly, yep. And then there's the Art Science Museum, is also quite iconic over here. Let's take a guess. That's got to be big points. Yep, 5K. Let's move on. Let's see if this gets a little bit harder. That was a nice easy one, I would say. Okay. Here we are. We're in Germany, and we are in Berlin. This looks like older, sort of older coverage, doesn't it? A little bit static. Okay, so obviously in Berlin, that's the Brandenburg Gate there, or the Brandenburg Tor, depending on how you like to say it. Obviously very iconic. Another, I guess, maybe we're also meant to look at this building here. So I do know a little bit about this hotel here. Obviously, this is a pretty fancy hotel if you're staying in Berlin. Some of you may know this is a pretty incredible location to be staying. But famously, this building here and this hotel here, I'm not sure exactly which window it was. Some of you may now start to recognize. It might have been this one. That would be funny if it's the open one. Maybe it was top floor, I'm not sure. But this is actually where Michael Jackson stayed when he visited Germany. And he rather famously dangled his child out the window, his baby, quite recklessly. Obviously, that made international headlines. That was this hotel. I don't know why I keep going over this side. I'm assuming, I just keep thinking it might have been this one, but there's a few other open windows. Yeah, the Hotel Adlon. It's a 5-star hotel. As you can see, some quite nice cars parked out the front. I know exactly where we are, so let's jump in And hopefully we can get off to a perfect start here. And let's zoom in on Berlin. Berlin is over in the northeast. Yes, here we go. And then, as I'm doing this, let me know in the comments if you've visited either of these two cities that we've begun with. Okay, here we go. That helps again. And then let's see if the Hotel Adlon pops up. It's further back here. There we go. Hotel Adlon. 5-star hotel. Let's chuck it right there and move on to the next one. 5K, great. Hope so. Pretty close. Let's have a look. Yep, spot on. 27 meters. Jump into the next one. Okay, this almost looks like Germany again. Let's turn around. Sorry, my mouse is a little bit slow here. Let's see what we're meant to be looking at. Okay, I already know where we are. I'm not meant to be cheating like that, but it's meant to be based on the building we're looking at. Okay, yep, I now know we're in Prague. Let me know if you knew that, just based on the scenery around. But this is the famous dancing house in Prague. I actually do know what it's based on. It's based on, it's called the dancing house because it's meant to look like two individuals dancing with each other. This side, obviously more so. You can kind of get that. I must have been doing some repair work, unless this is an old Google Street View coverage, but I don't think it's that old. Yeah, they must have been doing some repair work. But this is the dancing house in Prague, and it's based on Fred Astaire and is it Ginger Rogers, I believe? That's what it's based on. I remember that from the tour bus guide when I was on one of the tour buses around Prague. They taught me that. But yeah, pretty cool. What do you think of this building? I think I learned as well that it was quite controversial because obviously this is quite central in Prague, the older style buildings around here, and this sort of more modern development, I'm not sure they were too happy at the time, but I think depending on which way you look at it, it's relatively tasteful. It kind of fits onto the form of at least the height of these buildings surrounding, although it is quite abstract. So let me know what you think of this building. I love it. I think it's quite cool. I remember I was very keen to see it when I visited Prague. There we go. I was probably on one of these buses. Yeah, let's move on to the next one. And let's go up to Prague. Oh, whoops, not Hungary. Let's jump in right here, and it's on the river somewhere. Is that it? That would be very helpful if it is. That seems to be it. We're on the water here. All right. That's the obviously the Czech name for it. That's good. It's good that pops up. Very helpful for us. There we go. All right, 3 rounds in, we've got a perfect score. Let's continue this trend. Obviously, these are pretty iconic buildings, and it helps that I visited both of the last 2, and I really want to visit Singapore. Okay. Oh, under construction. Wow, okay. This must be relatively old footage yet again. Is that what I'm meant to be looking at? There's 3 pretty iconic buildings right there. Let's talk about it. This is Shanghai Tower. I think it's the tallest building in China. Obviously, not in this coverage here, but I believe it's still the tallest building in all of China. This is the Shanghai Financial Building, and I'm not sure what this one is called in the middle here, but that's far older. I know that. Let's take a look around. What else have we got here? Okay. Oh, here we go. I used to love this building as a child. I've never been to Shanghai, just prefacing, but I remember drawing this as a kid. I think it's called what's it called? Oriental Tower or something like that. It's a TV tower, and obviously it was built quite some time ago, and that would have been quite tall. I mean, it's dwarfed by the buildings around it now, but I mean, it is further in the distance, of course. But that's a pretty cool building. I mean, the TV towers these days, I think they just have, viewing platforms and viewing decks and stuff like that at top. But yeah, this is Shanghai. So let's pull up the map and give it a go. China, I mean, it's on the coast somewhere, right? Hopefully it pops up so I don't look like an idiot here. Shanghai. Help me out, maps. Help me out. Here we go. Great. And then is it going to help us out with the oh man, this may be where I lose my streak. I know the city, but I don't know exactly where it is. It doesn't help that it's extremely large. All right, let's just zoom in. We don't have to be perfect here. I know you guys in the comments are screaming at me that I should know where this is, but no, I don't want to put it there. Oh, here we go. That helps. There we go. I know, a little bit of cheating, but we're somewhere in between these two. Oriental Pearl TV Tower, that's what it's called, and Shanghai Tower. There we go. That's what it looks like. Complete. Let's go here. Not perfect, but pretty good. Fantastic guess. Okay, I really regret not going for the perfect score now, looking at that, but that's fine. We've got to be realistic. I didn't know where it was until I saw the logo. So let's jump into the next one. All right, tourist information. We're obviously at some sort of famous landmark. Everyone's taking pictures. Good job, guys. All right. Oh, I really could have got the perfect score here. This is I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation. Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. What I love about this is that it's just perpetually under construction. Still, actually, I mean, some of this might be repair work, but it's actually still being built, which I love. It's considered to still being under construction since the late 80s, 1800s. That is incredible, isn't it? And I remember when I was there, I visited again. There was cranes, there was works being done. It was amazing. It's almost like an art piece. Yeah, so this is in Barcelona. Let me know if you knew that in the comments. Again, this is quite an easy map, I would say. Maybe we might need to ramp up the difficulty levels. So Barcelona is on the coast, right? Unless I'm going crazy. There we go. Let's zoom in, and I'm sure this is going to pop up. There we go. Very helpful. Yeah, so if you can pronounce that, let me know how to in the comments. I can probably look it up after this. But yeah, fascinating. Still under construction. Must be the longest construction period of any building that I know of, at least. Let's just throw it. Were we on the park side? I mean, there's parks on both sides. Let's throw it here. I think we're near the path there. Let's give it a go. 5K, great. I mean, great to know, but I think we're about 2 points off perfect there. But to be fair, we were a little bit lost in Shanghai.